Okay, welcome back to our second video. In this video, we're going to go do a deep dive that hopefully at the end of this, you'll know exactly how to create a list that you can send out to people to invite them to your very first gold party. So let's start out. I've heard the concept before when doing something like this event that you should think of it like a wedding. Paul, why is that a good analogy?
Because you should because at a wedding, you have to invite people you hate and the people you really like too, and your family. So it's just like a wedding. Because the thing about it is, whether you love those people, hate those people, whatever, you can benefit from it. And you know what? So can they. So you don't want to ever judge. You don't want to go, oh, those people wouldn't have gold. Like I've seen people go, oh, that person's a teenager or they're only 21 years old. They're not going to have a lot. You don't know that, because the thing about it is their family may have been gifting them jewelry since they were little and they've never worn it. They may have gotten a class ring 5 years ago that they've never put on again. Like I'm telling you, class rings can be worth quite a bit of money. And so you don't ever want to prejudge people. I would sit down and I would, like when I've been in recruiting and building teams for 30 plus years. Everything I've ever done, I always sat down and I made a list. And I didn't make a list of people that I thought would do it. I just made a list of people that I knew. I just made a list of people that they knew. You know, it's like when I first went through my list of people that I did in the gold business, I didn't know Lisa. The way I know Lisa is because I went to high school with a guy who he was a valedictorian. I was not the valedictorian. I wouldn't even be able to spell valedictorian. I don't even know how I do know how he and I reconnected. He was on a reality show. I had my gold company was doing very well. Most people would have judged him and said he would never be interested in this. He's a big time star, blah, blah, blah. He's doing all this stuff on HGTV. I didn't do that. I didn't judge it. He got off of this show. I messaged him and I told him what I'm doing. And he was like, this is the most brilliant concept I've ever heard of. That show only gave me 15 minutes of fame. I know some people from our old days in high school. He went to another school with Lisa, brought Lisa to us. And because of Lisa, we did millions and millions of dollars in business. So
Perfect
you
example.
don't want to judge anyone.
Yeah.
You just got to talk to people and say, hey, here's the opportunity. Is something you're interested in? Great. If not, no big deal.
Okay, but here's a question. I am guessing that anyone watching this video, if they really thought about it, there's at least, 1,000 people potentially that they could invite. How many people do we actually want to invite to an event that is held in a house that maybe holds 20, 30 people?
You're going to want to dribble or just invite everyone you can. I would say I'd much rather have a bunch of people than too few. Because if you say, hey, I'm going to invite 20 people and 2 show up, that's not a very good showing.
Right.
If you invite 100 and 100 show up, we will stay there and it will be the most exciting thing you've ever seen, because people will be walking out of that house fired up and excited. So I would never put a limit on having that many people.
Okay, great. So Lisa, when you did this, what was your thought process, and maybe what was, I know it was a long time ago and now we have more technology, but how do you organize all of the people that you decide to invite?
So today I would use Facebook and do a Facebook event. Most likely we're going to have invitations that can be printed and mailed as well. But there's texting apps that you can use. So really it's just going to be what the hostess is most comfortable with. She's going to know her group of people, and some of them may not respond to text, but they'll respond to Facebook, and others may not respond to those, but they'll respond to a paper invitation. So the hostess is going to be the expert on that.
Okay. And what would the message be that's on the invitation? Like what would I say when I'm inviting somebody?
We'll provide a script for you.
Okay.
And usually it's very similar to something like, you're invited to a gold party. where you would just bring your old, broken, unwanted gold and let our certified tester take a look at it and offer to buy it from you. It would be, of course, worded much more eloquently
Yeah,
than
we'll
that.
have templates, we'll have postcards, we're working all that stuff right now that'll be out very quickly.
But the main message, I'm assuming, though, should be it's a party, right? This isn't anything to do with sales. This isn't a presentation. Because let's be honest, we've all been hit up a million times before. We want to be clear. This is a party first. And second, it's something that you're going to make money from if you decide to bring your gold along.
You know, that's what you're 100% right. You should be stressing, listen, nobody's going to sell you anything. Nobody's going to try to get you. This is just about an opportunity for something I found that I think will benefit my friends and family. I know it's already benefited me. I know I have a little bit from and listen, if you can get with the hostess before, if we can get with the hostess, if it's like Lisa and she has somebody in Texas that's local, if she can get with that hostess before the party and say, hey, let's go through yours first. I promise you, when that hostess finds out what she's going to make, that party just quadrupled in size because her testimony goes out and takes care of it.
And I can say that I never, just to ease those folks who are worried about coming to a party and then trying to be recruited into something, I never did any kind of recruitment type presentation ever. It was always at the end of the party, somebody would walk up and go, how do I do what you do?
Right.
And it would go from there. So there's no pressure whatsoever.
And how often did that
there
happen?
There were people we turned down.
How often?
Joseph,
how often did that happen, Lisa?
Always.
Everybody.
That's how I built the team that I had all over the United States.
Right. So when we are planning this list, I just created a quick list that I'm going to read out just to kind of help some of the people watching have their memory jogged or just think a little bit.
What we'll do is put this on paper too, because I think that'll be huge.
Yeah, that's great. So, obviously family, extended family. I mean, that goes pretty deep depending on how far you go. In-laws families, friends of family, your closest friends, friends you need to catch up with, long-lost friends, holiday card list. If you have a list, go through it. Business associates, employees at your current job, employees at your old job, employees at your spouse's job, people you go to church with, people who go to school at the same school as your kids, Facebook friends, clubs that you belong to, LinkedIn connections, business people, your insurance agent, your realtor, your delivery driver, your school crossing guard. I mean, your hairdresser. The list goes on and on and on. So if anyone thinks...
just from listening to you talk, just gave me okay, all the little league parents that your kids play games with, the person that does your dry cleaning, the person that cleans your car, the list is never ending. And I think we should have this for sure on a piece of paper, because when you start doing what you're doing right now, it jogs people's memory and you're going, oh, I forgot that person.
Exactly. Now, one thing I want to clarify, because I genuinely don't know nearly as much as you guys about this. So are you saying if somebody's watching this, that they will have somebody like Lisa that will mentor them if they decide that they want to throw at their first party? Is that how
Absolutely
it works?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. As a company, we'll mentor them.
Okay.
That's our job. Our job is to support them. Our job is to, anything I've ever done business-wise, and Lisa can attest to this, I make myself available. Lisa makes herself available. Our company is not successful without people.
Got it.
And people are the most important part. I don't care how great the technology is. If somebody's sitting there and they're like, I invite all these people and they tell me this, and this, well, there's something they're saying they probably shouldn't be saying. So we can talk to them and we can help them. And if somebody has a question, hey, call me up. I've had people call me up and go, is this really legal?
Right.
No, we're going to come to your house and rob everyone. I don't say that, but there's reasons why they think that. There's reasons why they may have gone into a pawn shop one time and gotten ripped off. They may have gone into a pawn shop. That's why we do home parties. I would say, listen, ma'am, I understand why you feel like that. This is why I started the company, because I knew women weren't comfortable going to jewelry stores or going to pawn shops. But we wanted to do it in a home setting where we could show you. And listen, there's no pressure. There's no sales pitch. We show you we're not going to negotiate with you. We're not going to tell you, oh, we'll give you $25. And if you say no, we're going to go, all right, we're going to give you $45. That's a negotiation. Like, we're going to give you the top dollar we possibly can. If you accept it, great. And there are times where we do a party and we'll tell somebody, if I see somebody that's like emotionally attached to a piece of jewelry and their mother gave it to them, I'm not going to be able to sleep at night knowing that I got an extra $200 out of that party because this lady gave up her grandmother's necklace that she gave her when she was 4. I'm going to tell her, listen, you've already got this over here. Let's not do that. Maybe down the road, you'll change your mind. But I wouldn't feel a good conscience because, listen, it's not worth the money for me. And I've had people that later on down the road would call me back and say, hey, listen, because of what you did before, I wasn't ready then, but I just realized I've never worn it since. I don't want it. I want to go back to you because you treated me right.
Right. Yeah. That's a great point. So anyone watching, just know that all you have to do is connect and you will have somebody that will answer all of the questions that you feel like you don't know enough about. So on that topic,
absolutely.
So I've got my list. I've exhausted everyone that I know. How far in advance should I send out my invitations?
I would say probably like 2 to 3 weeks, not too far, because people are like, oh, well, people plan their schedules out. They don't. I mean, they do, but they don't.
Right.
You know, it's like if you say, and you know your friends, like we can't tell you what night of the week to have the party. If you know all your friends are in Little League and their kids play on Saturday and they're not going to be able to come over on a Saturday night, don't do it on Saturday night. You know, if you know your friends are all of one faith and they do the Sabbath and they're not going to be able to come over on Sunday, don't plan it on Sunday afternoon. But if you know all the husbands get together to watch football and all the wives get together, why not combine them?
Right.
You know, so you just have to be a little bit cognizant, and we'll talk to the hostess. We'll ask them those questions. We'll help them figure it out.
Okay, so I'm sending my invitations out 2 to 3 weeks in advance. I'm asking for an RSVP, I'm assuming. What about follow-up?
You're going to want to follow up the day before, sometimes the day of, because I'm telling you, and nowadays with text messaging and stuff like that, you know, you can start a group text. You can send out individual texts pretty quickly. Hey, just reminding you there are parties tonight, blah, blah, blah. Can't wait to see you. Just remember, I did this and I got this amount of money. And we'll have all kinds of testimonials. And I tell people, listen, you want to tell somebody else's testimonial until you have your own. Then you tell your own story. And then you tell your family and friends' story.
Right. Okay. What, if anything, should I ask them to bring, Lisa?
So if they want to come and bring a dish or something like that so that it has that actual party type atmosphere, they're welcome to do that. We always had some sort of snack going on, you know, very rarely.
And you tell the hostess, you know, usually the hostess will provide that stuff. But like Lisa said, you want to get more involvement? Hey, you get more commitment when people are committed by bringing food.
And then, Lisa, you'd also told me, I think yesterday, that you used to do prizes or raffles. Tell me how that worked.
So for me, by trade, I'm a massage therapist, and I would always raffle off. If you brought a guest, for every guest that you brought, I would have tickets, and at the end of the night, I would give away a free massage. But for those
it didn't work out so well when I tried to do that.
No, because you are creepy. But
that's hurtful, but okay.
But we also, other folks that were under me would put together little Starbucks baskets or a little kitchen basket, nothing overly expensive, but just something, if you brought a guest, then you were going to be rewarded for doing so.
Right. And okay, so you just finished on my last question. The quickest way to double your your attendees is to have each person bring a friend. Tell us how you, maybe some tips to increase the number of people that will do that.
just like you said, just ask them to, they're welcome to bring a guest with them or a couple of guests. And usually people do. They don't like to show up by themselves, especially if they're used to having their spouse with them and this is just a ladies' party and they might not feel like they know everybody. They just feel a little bit better bringing a closer friend with them.
Awesome. Okay, so that's a really good overview of inviting people. In our next video, we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on at the party and then how to then use that to invite people to do their own parties and build your network deeper. So we'll see you in that next video.